Sebastian studio again. Oh, today we are going to be doing chibis as part of our anime manga How to Draw Week. And chibis are truly the emotional characters of that world. We're going to be learning how to do the faces and the bodies of them and a couple of fun poses. And then wait until at the end of the video, I will have our super silly riddle of the day. Now on to Mrs. Sebastian's studio desk. All right, I'm back at my studio desk, and things that you will need for this project include a pencil, some paper, a good eraser, and of course your imagination. So I'm gonna start off teaching you how to do the chibi style by pulling a picture from a video that I've done earlier and kind of show you some of the proportional differences. Remember, proportion is how things relate through measurement in relation to how big something is and where something goes. All right, so we start off with an oval like we did with the typical manga, except I'm gonna make it a little more squarish. So it's gonna be a little more rounded on the sides, and I am gonna have a chin that'll come down at the bottom, but there, it's not so much of an oval as it is kind of a rounded rectangle or square. And then once I feel that I've lightly sketched this out and I like the way this looks, then I can go back and I can erase those lines that I feel are not as important and make darker the ones that I do like. And for the chibi faces, the eyes on the manga style were closer to the middle of the oval. The chibis are a little further down and a lot bigger. So I'm looking at probably the bottom third of hers, and this is about where the bottom of her eye is going to go, and then it's going to go almost up to where the top third is located. And I'm going to go ahead and put in her eyes. And we're going to put in a much skinnier large oval. So this is the bottom here. And that'll be the bottom here. And we're going to put a nice dark eyelash line in there. We're still going to give her some eyelashes because this is a girl. Do the same thing over here. And we are going to give her, because we have so much more room, we can actually do a little bit more detailed things with her eyes, with highlights and a little bit of additional coloring. So I'm going to go ahead and put an oval behind the highlight circles. And I'm going to actually do a double ring, like so. I'm going to do the same thing over here. And for the eyes, I am going to do it darker for the pupil up here at the top, and then I can get lighter as I go down. And then on this other outside ring, I could even do a little bit of shading on the outside of that, and also on this side too. So we'll do the same thing over here. make sure that outside part has a really dark outline too. All right, let's finish off the bottom with a few eyelashes. And then their noses are really high up. So it's almost at the bottom where the eye would be. And then mouths, very similar. You know, we could do a same kind of dreamy look here if we wanted to. That matches up on her face. I might decide I want to change it. Maybe I'll do something a little bit like this, like surprised happiness. And then of course, maybe we'll add eyelid line, and then we'll have a really high eyebrow. And then of course we need our hair. Give her a part. Oh, if we want to put little hands up there too, we could. Chibis are always very expressive. They might have a little bit of the cheek, so we go indent around the eye a little bit and go a little rounder. So they're really a younger version, usually, of the main manga or anime art. However, sometimes you'll see in anime that they'll have a regular anime manga character, and then when they want that character to show extreme emotion, they'll switch very quickly to her chibi self and have different emotion coming out from her. So I think that'll give you the basic on chibi heads, and it's the same way for boys as well. I'll do a quick boy just to show you the difference. So just for comparison in size, so let's say you've got your average anime manga character there. So how big is our chibi going to be? Our chibi is usually only about 1/3 of the height of a normal anime character. Again, we start off with that rounded square or rectangle, and her head is going to be 1/3 of the size of her body. So her torso, I should say. And then of course she'll have her legs down here at the very bottom. And so we can do a lot of the things the same that we've already learned now about the eyes. Nice good outline, some nice highlights. Maybe a little bit of eyelashes. A little nose. Give her a cute little smile. Let's give her some eyebrows. Give her some hair. Maybe her ears, usually a little bit lower set than you would see on a regular manga character. And then give her a little schoolgirl costume. Give her a big floppy bow, why not? Little short little feet that are really just one with her legs. Very Powerpuff. As I look at those legs, the Powerpuff Girls have that same sort of leg. And then the arms too also are a little more chubby. And you might even see the peak of some fingers coming out. All right, so that's the basic difference between a manga and a chibi. I'm gonna go ahead and do the boy version. All right, so for the chibi version of this boy, again, we start with that square or curved rectangle. And we do another one for his body. And then we're just gonna have his legs come out of the bottom. So again, really big, low set, oversized eyes. Nose really high up. And his mouth is going to be so big, we can't even see the bottom of his chin. It just becomes one with his chin there. And then we'll do his eyebrows. He's pretty angry. And again, it's one of those little symbols that lets you know how they're feeling. Nice big eyes. Some highlights. Nicely outlined pupil. And low set ear. I'm gonna put his little on his hips there. Again, the hands are just almost like little nubs. Easiest hands in the world. there's this little chibi version. All right, so I want to do a few of these exaggerated expressions that the chibis do. So for example, if I was going to do maybe furious, then the eyes, you wouldn't even have a pupil in there. You'd have upturned eyebrows. You'd have these eyes that turned white. And then the mouth would probably do something like this. And then of course we'd have our ears, and we'd have our usual whatever our hairstyle is. Pretty exaggerated. So if you were a stunned chibi, you might look something like this. Your mouth would even go beyond your face. Maybe that's a little too high up. And then you'd have your eyes. And you'd have the little small pupils. And you'd have the eyebrows mimicking really high up what the top of the eye was doing. Okay, so let's see if you're really, really happy. Very similar to the stunned kind of look. Your mouth would be fitting on your face though. And your eyes, you'd see a little bit more of that top line, but you'd still have really small. And you might even have a few little twinkles in your teeth. Let's go ahead and do a silly one. Looks like he's sticking his tongue out. Notice that a lot of these don't even include noses for these emotional chibi faces. Anger, a little different from fury. It's always funny when those mouths go outside the line. Ooh, pretty scary. All right, we'll do one last one, and that is going to be Yucky. All right, so we're gonna do just a couple of action shots. So we're gonna go ahead and do one here, and then I think I'll do one here. Start off with those basic heads, and she's gonna have a body that comes down like this. Remember, those are kind of equal parts, and then the feet will stick out at the bottom. And we're gonna do a little more detail on these little chubby fingers. Not too much though. We're going to do a winky pose here. All right, there's my first one, and now I'm gonna do a second one.
I'm sure you can relate to pulling all sorts of books in your backpacks before. All right, one last bonus pose. We are going to do a furry chibi cat girl. So we're gonna start off with, and this one's a little bit older, something somewhere between the anime and the chibi. So we're actually gonna have a little bit of a longer leg, but a lot of the other parts are going to remain the same, but we're gonna make her legs actually the length of her torso. And we're gonna do our awesome eyes for our chibis the same. The high nose. We'll have just a little mouth here. Again, erase whatever lines you're not gonna wind up keeping. Add some highlights, add a pupil, add some shading.
Oh, I hope you enjoyed doing those with me. And if you didn't, take some time out of your day today to get creative and draw. All right, so here is today's super silly riddle of the day. I add lots of flavor and have many layers, but if you get too close, I'll make you cry. What is it? It's an onion. Onions, yeah, you can peel them. They have lots of layers and they make dishes delicious. So why do they make you cry though? As you're cutting them up, they have a chemical called synthase that when mixed with the environment, it activates a compound that will make your eyes water. So definitely watch out if you're cutting those. We don't want anybody to think maybe you accidentally cut your finger and that's why you're crying. No, you're just cutting onions. All right, so be sure to be kind, love on one another, do something nice for a family member today, maybe give them a big hug, and always keep on making great art. Until next time.